A pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to our dearest instructor on this subject, Art Appreciation, Ma'am Hani. I am Faizara Kim Dalimbang, and together with my group mates, we are the Group 5. So our assigned topic is the lesson 2, which is a bite of visual arts history of the country. In our elementary days, have you experienced or do you still remember when our teacher asked their student to wear a costume that represent the Philippines or our country? Have you worn camisa de sino for female and salakot for male? Are you familiar with those things? I'm sure you are not familiar because we are much more familiar with Filipiniana, Barotsaya, and Barong Tagalog. We experience those scenarios in our elementary, which is the cultural events. And those are the signifiers of our rich historical artistic background. Now, in this lesson, we shall take a walk through some of the markers of our visual arts history.
So the number 2 is the Hispanic influence and American influence, and mostly concerned with religion's church subject matter. So sa ating bansa is maraming na-influence yung mga Hispanic sa ating bansa, katulad ng mga painting, sculpture, at isa sa mga famous painting na na-influence nila sa ating bansa is the tableau, na kung saan is madalas nating nakikita sa mga Catholic Church, and kung saan nagpapakita ito ng mga images ni Jesus and also the Virgin Mary. So next is the Philippine flora and fauna. So ito namang painting is nagpapakita ng ating mga diversity sa Pilipinas, and pinapakita rin ito na kahit maliit ang ating bansa is mayaman naman tayo sa mga diversity. There are so many plants and animals that only here in the Philippines. At dahil sa ating tropical climate is napakaswerte ng ating bansa, dahil ito yung mga main reason kung bakit marami tayong biodiversity, tulad ng mga plants, animals, species na matatagpuan dito sa Pilipinas. Next will be the letras Y configuration. Ito naman yung mga painting ni Jose Honorato Lozano na nakalagay rito yung mga shape ng mga yuma, mga hayop, at mga halaman, at iba pa. So, nung una is hindi pa masyadong bihasa yung mga Pilipino pagdating sa larangan ng painteries. So, tinuruan sila ng mga friars kung ano yung mga techniques and skills. So, next is the American influence. So, the number 1 is the closing of Escuela de Pintura. So, ito naman yung kilala na national schools na matatagpuan sa Mexico, kung saan gi-open ng mga American influences para turuan ng yung mga estudyante sa larangan ng painters. And then the next is photo ethnography. So ito naman yung mga ginawa ng ating mga American soldiers para ipakita na walang sibilisasyon ang Pilipinas. So, makikita natin sa painting na ito yung mga bangkay ng mga Filipino soldiers. Next is Force of Arts, where commissions, sales, gave, and opening of new American business. So, ito naman yung mga pag-open ng mga American business sa Pilipinas, tulad ng mga commissions nila sa mga paintings, mga sales, at mga regalo. So, the last one is Filipinos started getting involved in international art exposition. So, dito na nagsimula na makilala yung mga Filipino painters sa international arts katulad ni Felix Visorio Hidalgo. So, siya naman yung tinanghal bilang the greatest Filipino painters noong 19th century.
Hi, good day to each and everyone. I am by City Dinting. So, I am the third reporter from the group 5. So, my assigned topic is the Second Republic 1942 to 1945. Japan occupies the country and laid the groundwork for cultural regeneration, dissipating American influence. So, the Japanese invasion to the Philippines was well planned. The Japanese offensive aims to weaken and distract the American military and naval bases. The Japanese forces did not respect the open city policy, and as a result, building was distracted by war. Any Filipino who caught disobeying the Japanese policy will be given punishment. Jose P. Laurel, the first president of the Second Republic from 1943 to 1975. Dr. Laurel was born in Tanawan, Batangas on March 1891. Some artists involved in the movement were conservative. The first involved is Fernando Amarsolo from May 30, 1892 to April 24, 1972. Was a portraitist and painter of rural Philippine landscapes. His nickname the Grand Old Man of Philippine art. He was the first ever to be recognized as a national artist of the Philippines. And the second one is Pablo Amarsolo. Was born on June 26, 1898, died on February 21, 1945. Was a Filipino painter. He was the younger brother of Philippine national painter, which is Fernando Amarsolo. And the third is Guillermo Estrella Tolentino. Was born on July 24, 1890 and died July 12, 1976. Was a Filipino sculptor and professor of the University of the Philippines. He was designed as a national artist of the Philippines for sculpture in 1973, 2 years before his death. And the fourth is Dominador Castañeda, Filipino 1904 to 1967. Dominador Hilario Castañeda, painter and writer, was a close friend and contemporary of Fernando Amarsolo. His paintings diverge from the characteristic style of the Amarsolo. Castañeda is well known for landscape rendered in cool tones of white and blue. The fifth is Victorio Idales from December 1895 to March 7, 1985. Was a Filipino painter. He laid the revolutionary 13 moderns who engaged their classical compatriots in heated debate over the nature function of art. He was named a national artist in 1976. The story names Victorio Idales as the father of modern Filipino art. And then the sixth is Galo B. Ocampo. Was born on October 16, 1913, died from September 12, 1985. Was a Philippine artist, a modernist painter. He painted works such as the Moro dance and the Igorot dance. Among his paintings, the Bro Madonna. And the last one is Hernando Ruiz Ocampo. Born in April 28, 1911, died December 28, 1978, was a Filipino national artist in the visual arts. He is also fictionist, a playwright, and editor. Also, art became a vehicle influence for the Japanese to control the Philippine spirit by restricting their article expression. By joining and participating participating in the activities of the Hulkbu ng Bayan laban sa Hapon, People Anti-Japanese Liberation Army or Hulkbalanap. And the second is conveying symbolic message of opposition through various forms of artistic expression. And the last one is empathetically providing sustenance and support to American soldiers. So that's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day everyone, especially to you ma'am. I am Jasmine M. Aliuddin, one of the reporter of the Group 5. My topic assigned is the Third Republic 1946 to 1972. The Third Republic of the Philippines was inaugurated on July 4, 1946. It marked the culmination of the peaceful campaign for the Philippines independence. The Third Republic also marked the recognition by the global community of nations of the nationhood of the Philippines. Also, the President Manuel Rojas issued by Executive Order Number 94. This order changed the name of the department responsible for the regulation of education across the islands of the Philippines. From Department of Instruction, it's become Department of Education, with the regulation and the supervision of public and private schools belong to the barrier of the public and private school. This was also the period when Philippines joined UNESCO. Areas of modernism spearheaded mostly by R.H. Ocampo, Victoria Idades, and Napoleon Obeba. Hernando R. Ocampo was a Filipino artist best known for his abstract paintings. Following in modernist tradition, Ocampo used a bold color palettes and volumetric shape, and inspired by both his country's landscape and by science fiction writing. Art Association of the Philippines was formed along with the Philippines Art Gallery PAG. So, what is the Philippines art? An art gallery is an exhibit space to display and sell artwork. As a result, the art gallery is a commercial enterprise working with a portfolio of artists. The gallery acts as the dealer, representing and supporting and distributing the artwork by the artist in question. Lydia Villanueva Aguilar, known as the founder of one of the first galleries of modern art in the Philippines. A short story writer, her husband Manuel Tooth, creative with the writing at an university, and later managed the publication of the Barrier of the Public Welfare. Letter C means art a movement where realism and a new realism with the media-related convention like comics and additional cartoons. Realism as an art movement. Realism in the art, the accurate details, depiction of a nature or contemporary life. Realism rejects imaginative idealization in favor of a close observation of outward appearance. In new realism means it intimate the study of nature, deliberate, objective transposition, good of craftsmanship, and love of the medium. This with a continued renewal with the life. Example, collaborate of the art and the nature must result in a strong individual and interesting interpretation of life. Classical realism versus neorealism. Classical realism explanation based on human nature, historical and philosophical. Neorealism explained based on international system, a historical and scientific.
Assalamu alaikum to each and everyone. I am Jala sa makaong usapan, especially to you, ma'am. The Marcos era. The history of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986 covers the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos. The Marcos era includes the final years of the Third Republic, 1965-1970. In September 1972, Marcos declared martial law, claiming that it was the last defense against the rising disorder caused by increasingly violent student demonstrations. Alleged to hurt a Communist Party threats of Communist Party separatist movement of the Moro National Liberation Front opposition politicians in Congress. Imelda Remedios Visitacion Trinidad Romualdez, born on July 2, 1929, is the first Filipino The third one is the Madonna of the Slums. The painting depicts a young mother who is poor and struggling to take care of her child. The painting is a reminder that even in the midst of poverty and hardship, there is hope and beauty. Who is often associated with poverty and motherhood. The fourth one is the Itak sa Puso ni Mang Juan, which covers the poor man who is on one elbow, look like he's in need of support, or he will fall with not other person. And that painting, he thinks that he is a way to advocate for those silenced and voiceless in the society. Truly, Itak sa Puso ni Mang Juan is a wake-up call to help the country by supporting the Filipino laborers. His hunchback in hand. Under the Coca-Cola logo, the world's Philippines were also pointed in white, however, small one. A girl who is fighting for herself and her child. So, I believe that being poor is not a hate.